Johnny and Justin were two simple Imagineers at Disneyland until they dared to ask the question,
"Hey, Justin, is Disney diverse?"
Well, Johnny, I'm not.
"Oh no, we've angered the mouse!"
Stormtroopers, run!
"Holy crap, it's a gaggle of cookies!"
Now, from undisclosed locations within the Disney park, Johnny and Justin record a podcast where they seek to answer the question, is the Disney catalog diverse?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Disney+Diversity. I'm Johnny.
I'm Justin.
As you know, here on Disney+Diversity, we review the Disney catalog to see how diverse and inclusive it actually is. And in today's episode, we're about to get a little bit ferocious. But we're talking about have a claw-tastic time. We're gonna spot everything, every single where. If you haven't caught the hint yet, today we're reviewing. What are we reviewing, Justin?
I wasn't ready for any of that. We're reviewing the Cheetah Girls.
Oh, there it is. Woo! We reviewed the Cheetah Girls. So,
oh my goodness. So Johnny, were you aware of it? Were you aware of the Cheetah Girls back in the day?
Yes. The Cheetah Girls was not a movie. The Cheetah Girls was a movement, dude. Like, Cheetah Girls were everywhere. Like, here's the thing. So first off, I'm a big R&B fan, R&B pop fan and everything like that.
Right.
So two of the members of Cheetah Girls are actually two members of a popular pop band, 3LW.
I remember that.
3LW kind of like had a falling out where they got rid of one of their members. And so they were kind of like doing the two girl thing for a minute. I was like, oh, is the group falling apart? But then they showed up in this Disney Channel movie, and this was kind of like their next step in a way. They went from being 3LW, platinum selling like R&B group, to being Cheetah Girls. And so all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're doing this now. And it worked out because, again, people went nuts for it. Like, I remember when the Cheetah Girls were coming out, again, there was like merch everywhere. People were talking about all over Disney Channel, all over social media and everything like that. Like, the Cheetah Girls were really huge. So I was really aware of it, but had I seen the movie? No. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I'm putting this in that same Xenon category. As much as I appreciate watching Xenon now, Cheetah Girls, I was just kind of like, again, the younger me, getting in college, I'm a dude. I'm watching Smart House and stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, Cheetah Girls may not be up my alley. That might be before me. Even though I was a big fan of That's So Raven. Right. So I never checked it out. And so I was excited to watch it for this episode, for our Black History Month episode. What about yourself? Have you ever seen Cheetah Girls? Were you part of the Cheetah movement?
I was not. We're in that period of like, it's 2003. Though I was a freshman in college, it was that case where I definitely, it's funny. You were the opposite of me in the fact that you were watching this stuff because you had access to it finally. Whereas I always had Disney Channel, which meant I figured, I guess it's time for me to move on. So, with the
Oh, what's up, Jada? What's up, Sudan?
Oh, hello.
What's up?
Hello, thank you. We have a new follow! Yay!
You certainly are.
Yay! Am I Piglet in this duo of? Probably Piglet. I'm a little shorter. No, I was a little like Cheetah Girls is one of those, again, like we're talking this era of Disney Channel movies to remind everyone, in case you've never seen one of our shows before, I was avoiding it very much so because I'm too old. I'm in my 20s, right? Or in my late teens. So I just knew of Cheetah Girls. And if anything, like I knew, of course, like the evolution of Raven Simone from, the show, from the guy I don't want to talk about anymore, to hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Cake. Jail is great. Chocolate cake.
God.
Jail is great for you, sir.
God.
For you.
Oh my God. I mean, yes. Yeah.
As we know, I am not a fan of the prison industrial complex. However, at the same time, some people deserve to be there,
Right. So to see the evolution of Raven Simone from sitcom to being a star at Disney Channel, and I'm talking a star. Like, it was an interesting thing for me to go like, oh, all right, it makes sense. Yeah, like
I mean, to keep it one real, to give this comparison, everybody, back in the early 2000s, Raven Samoa was Disney Channel's Zendaya.
yeah, oh, 100,
Yeah,
1,000%,
yeah,
1,000%. That's
yeah.
that is an accurate assessment. Correct. And it's funny because like you turn around, you can't get away from her, but she's somewhere on the channel. Like remember she was in Xenon, and then she eventually got to her own show, and now she's got like this franchise that she was not only a big part of her character is the leader, the pusher, the hustler, So yeah, no, it if anything, yeah, the Cheetah Girls, the poster showcases all four girls, but you can kind of tell Raven was still in the spotlight of
Oh
the
yeah,
movie.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And so to give people a little bit of background, so the breakdown of Cheetah Girls is about the synopsis: 4 teens home to their dream of musical fame while navigating the twists and turns of their normal
You
lives.
certainly are.
So it
Mhm.
came out in 2003, and it stars Raven Simone, who we talked about as well, as Galleria Bubbles Tribaldi, which is kind of cool. She's half black, half Italian, so a biracial
Yeah,
teen like she is in real life.
right.
Adrian, oh, what's up,
Oh,
Marco? Whoa, what's up, dude? Thank you.
the follows.
They're coming in all over. They're
they're,
coming in
they're
all over.
they're coming in for the Cheetah Girls. I knew it.
Of all things.
We are
Our
sisters.
sisters. It has Adrian Balin as Chanel Chuchi Simmons, Kylie Williams as Aquanette Aqua Walker, and
Mhm.
Sabrina Bryan as Dorinda Dew Thomas, as well
So,
as a cast of other adults and amazing people.
who were the 3LW and Johnny Three Little Women, right? That
Yep.
was in. Who were the two members like that were originally from 3LW?
So that was Adriana Balin and Kylie Williams.
Okay.
Those are the two
Okay.
from 3LW.
Gotcha. Okay, I do vaguely remember 3LW, and I did, but I didn't know if like I didn't know that they separated or got rid of one of the three.
Oh yeah,
and
big time.
and it became 2LW, and then and then it evolved into the Cheetah Girls. Okay.
Yeah, they got rid of the other member was Naturi Naughton. Shout out to her, Naturi. She actually went to other stuff too, though. Like she didn't let that hold her back. She wanted to be a big time actress too, so she kept working. So props to her.
Hey,
But
right
yeah,
on.
so they kicked her out and went her own thing, which is
Mhm.
kind of weird because to be real with you, so like because the Cheetah Girls themselves had their own drama. Like we're reviewing Cheetah Girls 1. There's also Cheetah Girls 2 where the cast returns because again this is a successful franchise. But then there's a Cheetah Girls 3 where Raven didn't come back for that one, and the reason why is because apparently there was some turmoil and drama behind the scenes. It was later confirmed. If y'all all part of that, y'all want to sip the tea, you can totally check it out. There's an Instagram live between Raven and Kylie where they kind of like hash things out and they talk about it. And Kylie admits that like there was drama behind the scene. Raven admits to it. They talk about why the third movie was a success because Raven didn't come back. And it's a whole thing where now even Kylie and Adrian have their own drama, which is like, are y'all serious?
Wait.
It's
Hold on. I don't want
tea on tea on tea.
I don't want to stick around the tea party too long, but I just didn't know. Wait, for reals? Like Raven and Kylie had a little chat
So, yeah, so Raven and Kylie had some stuff they had to settle out, but now Kylie and Adriana, who are both in 3LW together, they don't get along. They're not speaking. It's a whole thing. Like, we're again watching it and like looking
Wow.
for this thing. Like, Adriana was like, because Raven, after they squashed their thing on Instagram Live, Raven was like, now here's the thing, you got to reach out to like Adrian and squash the beef there. And Kylie was like, no, I knew her before you, and she never even came to my dad's funeral. So I was like, oh my God, this is like super beef right here. It's a whole thing. That's not what we talk about here on Disney+Diversity.
Oh, the tea.
We don't.
The tea. Oh, what?
Oh,
Who?
we don't sip the tea like that. From who?
Thank
Squobo.
you.
That's Tsunami King's clothing
You
company
all-
brand. Squobo
How
is
many
amazing.
people are here
It's
for
a
the
geek
tea
clothing
party?
company. Thank y'all. Show them. Yeah.
The Cheetah Girls that brought people in.
Thank y'all for supporting. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Okay, so getting into it, so like again, so there's been a lot of tea, there's a lot of drama. So I guess let's talk into the plot of the movie and everything like that. So as just as you talk about the whole plot of the thing starts about like this girl group being pushed by a Raven in this role here is all about trying to like become like the next big pop stars. They're a girl group. Raven's the lead singer and a songwriter. Adrian and Kylie again are like two like backup singers in a way, and then Sabrina, who plays Dorinda, is like the dancer in the group and everything like that.
Right.
And again, it's a nice like biracial group of like Black, Latino, white, and so the thing about it is though, so it's kind of like a cool mixture, everything like that. And so the whole premise of the movie is them trying to get their big music deal and get that cracking, and we follow their journey. How do you feel about the plot and the setup of the story as we started watching it?
I mean, pretty standard, for these kind of movies. If you've seen one, youthful band who has dreams of aspirations of being a big time, pop star, rock star, whatever, this film pretty much follows suit on that trajectory of what happens in these movies. They get to perform, they get to show off, something comes up, one of them loses their integrity, possibly the leader. But don't worry, some sort of phenomenal thing happens in the third act that gets the group back together again, possibly perform. If it's at a venue, cool. If it's not at a venue, also works. It follows it to a T. So look, here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm in terms of like entertainment value, I think it's a little past me because I'm a little too old for it. It won't work on me the same way. It's funny, Johnny. We've sat through a lot of Disney Channel movies, and I've been more surprised at the ones that stuck with me. For and even like the ones I was like gotta kick it up is fine, but there's a lot of things.
Say play.
There's a lot of really, but I can see the really intense positive stuff that's in that movie that even if I think the movie's okay, I think there's merit to the viewing and the experience of that movie. And from the point of view of the filmmakers who made it, blah, blah, blah. Same goes for Johnny. Look, everyone, if you know by now, I'm a big Johnny Tsunami person right here.
Same. That was my recommendation for us to watch. Love Johnny Tsunami. I'm happy you loved it too, and it held up like it did.
Oh no, that's by far my favorite of the Disney Channel movies we've sat through. This one though, it's one thing. All right, you know what? I get it. This is very popular. I get that this affected a bunch of young viewers at the time it came out. I respect that. It's fine for me. It's okay for me. Look, it ain't no Josie and the Pussycats, but
Ooh, someone go on Patreon, pay us to review that. I'm down to do that any day of the week.
Ooh,
shout out to Rosario Dawson. But I'm with you though, because think about it is that watching this, there are some plot elements that I do like giving some respect. Like first off, I like the fact that pretty much like 3 of the 4 girls has a plot line that they're dealing with, which is good to see. So Raven's the main one of the group, is like as they go on and pursue their record deal or whatever, and they get the opportunity to get the record deal, and it looks like things are going into motion. Raven starts to get the big head. She starts to get the stardom before you get to the star power. She becomes braggadocious on different things like that. And so that I get. I'm like, that's a nice setup. We also got a B storyline with Adrienne, storyline where her mom is like dating somebody, and feels like her mom's not paying attention to her, and she might have to like move to France potentially with this like guy her dad's been dating. That's a nice B storyline right there. Agreed. And then the whole time Sabrina Doe has this whole like hidden mystery thing where like you kind of get the vibe that she's poorer than the other girls. She can barely afford things. So again, that's kind of our C storyline here. So I appreciate the structure. Like there's somebody for you to attach to in a way. And that's a cool thing when you do these ensemble movies, that you don't have to like the whole crew. Is you can find somebody who's your favorite. You kind of like vibe with that person and you want to see them succeed. So I give them credit. Kylie kind of left out on the wind because again, as her character Aqua Walker, she's just kind of there with a southern accent. And I kind of think I have a theory as to why, which I'll talk about later. But the thing about it is that at least they have that structure they're going for those 3 main arcs. Now, to your point though, how well these arcs done? Meh. Like, to be totally honest, like again, it's like there's like I've always said the thing about good storytelling is good storytelling is ageless. As we saw with Johnny Tsunami, again, we don't snowboard. We're not from Hawaii, but we love that movie.
Yeah.
Same thing with Xenon. Zeta Lupidus. Stacy, am I saying that right? It's been a year and some since we've done the episode, but even that.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah. And then to this day, Lemonade Mouth is oh my god.
Oh yeah, Lemonade Mouth.
You're LOL. We're VIP. It's like fire bars for days. Oh my gosh, just so good. No,
then
we get to hear And I got some critiques because what is I just wish some things had been a little bit stronger. Like I feel like Dorinda Doe's storyline of being impoverished could have been done like a little bit more, explore that. And maybe the whole reason for the girls getting the stardom is kind of help her out with that financial situation. Because there's some points in this thing where she makes some bad financial decisions where she gets offered to go as a dancer on the world tour, but she turns that down to be a Cheetah Girl where again they're not making any money yet. And it's like, dude, she is poor. Not just poor, she's like poor.
Yeah.
And so it's like that doesn't really make that much sense to me. And then like again, like Adriana's like storyline with her mom, and her mom wants to marry this dude that she's never even met. It's like for real.
Yeah.
It's like I get it, you're building up the drama, the whole piece and everything like that. But again, there's that point where it's like y'all could do better here. And honestly, and also like the last scene, which again we're jumping around a little bit, but the last scene about how they all come back together was just so ridiculous. Like, it was just so like I don't want to be mean, but it was like it was dumb. It was some lazy ass writing.
Right. Here's the thing. Like, okay, here's the thing. Like, I look, I'm willing to go along a lot with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Especially with Disney Channel movies. Like, you know, I'm willing to go. You know what? I'll roll with a lot. You know, but there is something about the finale here. Like at a construction and like the all the girls were watching TV at the same time to notice.
Okay, wait, we gotta set it up for our audience. Like, so
all right, go.
In the last scene, at the very end of the movie, we're skipping some stuff here, but we're gonna jump around, y'all, and spoilers, obviously. So here's the thing. So in the very last scene, the girls have like again, Raven got the big head. She kind of made the group like go apart, go their separate ways or whatever, because again, she was so egotistical and everything. So at the end of the movie, the way that the group ends up coming back together is because Raven's dog, because she's been shirking responsibilities, when she finally goes out and walks her dog, falls down into a sewer, and the dog gets stuck. And this calls on everybody in the city. Construction crews, police, fire chiefs are all trying to save this one dog, and news shows up, and all of a sudden all the girls are all watching the news, and they're all like, we gotta go save Toto, oh no, and they all go and they say, we came to support you. And I was like, what? And then like this is what brings all the girls back together. And then the most ridiculous thing was like, okay, maybe y'all all come back together, you save this dog, you help me get out, and then you see the talent shows right there like, hey girls, we started a job, let's finish the job. And then they go to the talent show. No. The fire chief and all those people are like, you know what? There's only one thing that's going to save this dog, girls. Singing. What do you mean? You've got to sing to the dog. The dog's got to hear you. Can't we just call his name very like, no. You got to sing, girls. You got to sing. So the girls start singing.
Producer Stacy wants
the dog respond. And somehow
I'm dying too.
Okay. Out. And I'm just looking like, the fuck did I just watch right now?
Producer Stacy.
Oh my gosh! It did.
Okay, all right.
It's a Disney Channel movie. But then after that, the girls start singing, and all of a sudden, because they sung, they also again have won the challenge show. And then their final performance outside, where again, still over the sewer, this manhole covered, they do their final song, where now the construction workers and the cops have now become their backup dancers. They know this choreography and are hitting these cues as we wrap up this movie. And I'm literally watching like, the fuck is this? Oh my God. So I'm sorry. So this is all to say, there are Disney Channel movies where I'm like, y'all need to go watch this. This is not one.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. So
Producer Stacy, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
I would love to hear you.
It's all good. No, I just want to say, I know I have a slightly different perspective because I did grow up with this movie, and as a kid, it was a big deal to me, this movie. But you know, I was a kid. But like even as a kid, I always thought that ending was ridiculous. I was like, what the fuck is this ending? Even as a kid, I was like, okay. And like, I felt embarrassed for them. I had secondhand embarrassment as a child for them when they start singing into the sewer to get the dog out. And like, the other thing, I mean, I put the picture up before when you started talking about it, but like, they all happen to be wearing matching tracksuits.
Right.
At that time, when they all decide to go, yeah, they all happen to be matching, and
like
that's not
the chipmunks in this bitch.
That's not the outfit for the talent show either. It wasn't like they were getting ready to go to the talent show. No, they were all just wearing matching clothes at that exact moment.
And then look, I'm gonna jump straight to the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Not only were the people at the talent show there, not only was the guy who was going up against the Cheetah Girls there to support them. Not only all of this, not only did they save Toto, not only did the cops and the firemen dance with them, they also won the talent show. And like,
no, they have to. In the Disney movie, you have to win the talent show. What are you talking about?
And I'm like, it kind of reminds me of like the first Harry Potter story where Gryffindor also wins the house. I went, really? All of it?
No, you mean like every year in Hogwarts when Gryffindor wins the House Cup? Because
I'm not hating on that. I'm not hating that. Because here's the thing. Because when they win because my man's devil. Because my dad's devil was like, I'm snitching. Y'all ain't supposed to be doing this, Harry. I'm snitching. And the Dumbledore was like, hey, sometimes you need to snitch. 2 points.
I'm just saying.
I can't hate on that.
I'm just saying you can't win every damn thing.
Oh no!
But I get it. Disney Channel movie.
Yeah.
Disney.
But in the end, I was hold on. Remind me what year this came out? Was it 2002 or 2003? 2003. Yeah. So I was like 10. So that was about like 10 or 11. So that was the prime Cheetah Girl age when that came out. About to be a preteen, girl power.
That's true.
You can do it.
That's fair.
All of that. And so I mean in that way, I think it for kids when they watch it, I think it is a positive experience for young girls. I think it was. I think it really was. And it's someone like, I mean, even if you're not into music, but like I've always been into music. That's my thing. And like, I loved the music. I, loved singing along and like dancing along. But yeah, it was still like a big deal at the time. But I think there's things to be said about like how it holds up now, I guess. And really looking at the plot as an adult, I guess.
And here's the thing too, though, that kind of gets me as we talk about like the Disney Channel structure here. This movie annoys me because of the potential that was left on the floor. Because here's the thing. So first off, here's the thing. Cheetah Girls is based upon a book series, right? And so the book series has gone on for like several volumes and whatnot. And first off, shout out to the author of the book series for getting this check. Like I'm always giving shout outs to that. Yeah. Because
Deborah Gregory, by the way.
Deborah Gregory, exactly. And think about this also. Deborah Gregory was able to sell this to Disney Channel, like get this check or anything like that, which is dope. So I'm happy they were able to make this, but it was like, look, you got 2 members of 3LW. You also got Raven Simone, who has a budding music career at this point and everything like that. Can y'all just go hire a back child? Can y'all get a Babyface? Can y'all put some actual production teams behind this and give these girls some really good songs? Because again, that's the reason why I believe High School Musical was so catchy, is that those songs are actually good from High School Musical. It's like, what time is it? Time to get down. Get down to damn. It's catchy.
I'm sorry, Johnny. Are you telling me that because we are sisters, we stand together, we're all one big family, even though we don't look the same, isn't brilliant lyricism?
No, that is not good lyricism.
I know, I'm teasing, but yes.
No. But that's the thing, though. It's like, I'm like, you left it on the floor. Because here's the thing, giving shout outs to 3LW, they got hits. It's like Players Go Play and all those things like that. Those girls legit have hits. And so if you just take them right now with Raven Simone, this other girl, give them some legitimate songs produced by some actual producers here, you could have an even more budding franchise that probably could have rivaled High School Musical before we got to that. That last movie would have been in theaters. But because Disney's like, I get it, you're on this like shoestring budget. It's like, we invest $10 into music production, we make $80 million in case it actually hits.
Actually, I have an interesting, I don't know if I want to call it a full factoid because I didn't do research on it. I should have done it before this, but I do know of it. So there's a scene, if I remember correctly, I think it's like they audition for a record company. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Something? Yeah. So the song they sing there, I think it's the Cinderella one. I don't want to be like Cinderella sitting in a something waiting for someone to come rescue me. Yeah. So that was interesting because watching this movie for the first time when I was a kid, I was like, I recognize that song. That song's not even an original for Cheetah Girls. There is a Swedish pop group of 4 girls. They were called Play. And I was a huge fan of them. And this was before Cheetah Girls. They were before Cheetah Girls. That was their song. And I was like, wait, what? And like, it's weird because no one ever talked about it. Maybe, but in like, I would say, oh, well, it's because who knows who Play is. No, Play was very regularly played on Radio Disney. So they were the Disney Channel people, Disney people, they know of them. So like, they just kind of took their song, I guess. Wow. And I don't know if it was someone's before Play even, but I know in my heart, Play had it first.
That's amazing.
There, that was my
I actually I'm doing a little bit of a quick look at the wikis for the production history, and I'm a little surprised to see Whitney Houston was a producer of the project.
A producer, yeah.
A producer.
Just throw your name behind it, some checks, makes sense, yeah.
And the music, one of the composers for the film soundtrack is Mark Mothersbaugh, who, in case you don't know, co-founder and lead singer of Devo, and great film composer in his own right, and such great projects as the theme song to the Rugrats, but also a lot of great Wes Anderson films, bunch of Marvel. And no, he's a great dude. Mark Mothersbaugh.
No, Justin,
he's great.
No, Justin, here's the thing. I'm not doubting that, but here's the thing. As you list all these qualifications, I'm not hearing R&B superstar.
Well, no. I mean, let me wrap up my thoughts because I get where you're coming from. But hear me out. So here's the thing. I think he's legitimately a great film composer and a great like musician for Devo, because that's his band. But that's the thing. Like, you have Whitney Houston producing it, but clearly just putting her name in there. And you have a guy like Mark Mothersbaugh who, a great film composer, but also doesn't necessarily obviously not the right fit for whatever this movie was. And I feel like, going back to what you said earlier, that the movie, it feels like a missed opportunity. I feel like the project is what do we know? I won't put something out. What do we know? First off, because clearly this blew up in 2003. It doesn't really, air quote, need yours and mine like updates. You know what I mean? Like, at the time it did well, so don't need us to say in 2022 how you could have made this bigger. No, pretty big. But if I can throw something at it, I could feel like it's much like the other Disney Channel movies we watched. I feel like, man, if you just had a bigger budget, if you were meant to be a theatrical film, I think you would have gotten more reach and more talent. What you're suggesting, Johnny,
and sometimes it's not even that you have to like even drop the budget behind it. Honestly, it's just like you have to look at the product you're doing, and this kind of goes back to what we do at Disney+Diversity. And you got to say, who should we be getting to do this? Again, like what's my man's name, Justin? The music producer who was behind this.
Oh, it looks like he's one of the producers of the soundtrack.
Oh, what's his name?
Mark Mothersbaugh.
Mark Mothersbaugh,
yeah. But there's another guy who looks like whose name is even before that, like who shares composing credits with the films. I'm not sure how much Mark Mothersbaugh is in there, but I'm gonna take a wild guess at this other composer. John Van Teroghen. I'm gonna guarantee he's probably a white guy. So
yeah. So here's the thing. It's just like, dude, it's like as much as we talk about getting like people of color in the writers' room and everything like that, and people come behind the scenes, it's like you're doing this out. This is a soundtrack. You're putting out this type of music with these types of girls. Like, go to the community here, because like I remember there's a scene where like the guy who's crushed on Raven performs like the rap and everything like that, and that rap it's fun, but again, it's a little bit lackluster in some ways. Where it's like, had you just like went into like the actual community, hired some producers from there and everything like that, you never know what type of upcoming talent you might find someday. Because here's the thing, like for example, I don't want to use this example. It comes to mind though. Kanye West. Kanye West currently has a documentary on on Netflix right now called Genius, where it's like documenting his life coming up though. But the thing about this was that back during like the early 2000s before he was signed, Kanye was out here trying to sell beats to anybody and everybody. And guess who could have bought some of these beats? Disney Channel.
Sure.
It's like if you just go there, just go to the community and employ some of these people, one, you're giving opportunity, which is freaking dope. You're going to change somebody's life for the best. Two, you're getting the music from the culture, which is going to make your movie more authentic. And three, you could potentially have a hit on your hand. And so that's what I'm just looking at when I look at this. It was like, this music is fun, but I'm like, damn, dude. I still, to this day, I still listen to some 3LW songs. But again, after listening to the Cheetah Girls soundtrack, I'm just like, again, feel like so much missed opportunity. But again, going back to it, it's like you should have just went to the community who makes this music, again, where this music is based upon for the film, and tap somebody there to do this. And also look into I was just say as well, also just look at the production for this. This movie had a lot of misses in a way. Because again, it was a huge hit. But it, like, did you know who they originally wanted the cast to play the role of Aqua for this bad boy?
Go for it. Go for it.
Solange Knowles, Beyonce's little sister. Yeah, apparently she was originally cast to play Aqua. However, she had to pull out because of the film's production due to promotional release of her debut album. You moved the production for Solange Knowles. You moved the production. Solange is a legit great R&B singer. She is a Grammy-winning artist. You pause the production like, wait, when's Solange gonna be available? That's when we gonna start shooting. But yeah.
And I think what's kind of getting, again, it's like, I keeping in mind, this was not a failed franchise. There were three of these movies, so clearly it did really well. And for folks like Stacy who are the right age, who got to see it, and the air quote, let me say, the correct age to watch it, it obviously made an impact. But I feel like this is one of those things where, again, pointing out what you're saying, that like, when you don't get the people who understand the culture you're explaining, or you're doing the property around, you do lose something in the adaptation. Like I'm looking up Deborah Gregory's work, and like she is got a ton of shit going on besides just this, besides these books.
Shouts out this Black woman. She's out here hustling.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where like, it's funny. I think I was even reading that she was like apparently, the character of Aqua was supposed to have a twin sister.
Yep. I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in the original books, that the Aqua had a twin sister, and she wanted Tia and Tamara, Mara, which makes sense, especially in 2003. That totally makes sense for her to go that route. And here's the thing. This is why I almost feel like, if it's weird, I keep looking at these movies and going, I kind of think it may not be a bad call to either remake them or come back to them in some sort of new way. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's weird. What are the ones I feel like would be good to revisit and catch up with the characters in the present day, and which ones I feel like would be good to remake them, because I think you can do a better job next time out. And I would say for like Xenon, I actually want to, hey, let's catch up with her. I want to see her now at her current age to see how Xenon's doing, and etc. Right? With Johnny Tsunami, I want to see him as a father of his own and see him take care of his kids and etc. and hanging out with his dad and his grandpa. This is one where I go, Disney, if you want to put the money in, or more importantly, you want to put the attention in, forget the money thing. If you want to put the right attention in and get like the right creatives behind it, I wouldn't think it'd be a bad idea to relook at this book series and try it again from the ground up.
I agree, because again, you go back, you take some suggestions we're saying about like tap the people to make the music with the culture, take your time and do some things right. And again, this thing could be freaking huge.
Yeah.
Because again, it is dope to see like these girls of different backgrounds coming together, this diverse group and everything like that. It's really cool to see. It's empowering. Also, Dorinda's character, Dorinda, the character played by Sabrina, being this white girl who's raised by a Black foster mother, is really cool. But it's also something that's kind of randomly common. Like I see it a lot. I see like I grew up with like people who are white who grew up with like Black foster care mothers or with mothers who took care of them or whatnot, and they down as hell. And I've also seen it like in my own school as well. So I feel like that doing that now could like really tap into that. Talk about like the culture, or like passing on to different people and anything like that, and like
Right.
talk about those like things they go through and everything like that, could be really powerful. I will say as well that it would also give them a chance to do the movie the right way, because I do have another major critique of it.
Please.
So here's the thing. So as we talked about, this is based upon the book series, and Kylie Williams' character was a combination of two characters. She
Mm.
was a combination of Aquanet and her twin sister. And the thing about it was though is that these two twins were actually supposed to be two dark skinned girls. So the
Mm.
biggest thing that sticks out from this movie is like just being legit here is the colorism.
Yeah.
Like the thing about this is we said this earlier that Raven Simone was a Zendaya of her day, and now we got Zendaya blowing up, all of Disney Channel doing things like that.
Mhm.
But there's a colorism that kind of exists within Hollywood where it's like, dude, where's the dark skinned folks at? And how come y'all are here not pushing them like the way you're pushing like some of these like lighter skinned folks as well?
Right.
And that's kind of thing I see with this movie. It's like, okay, you got Raven who's like black and Italian that shows that biracialism, that's dope as hell. But then you put in Kylie, Kylie's also like very light skinned and light fair as well. Then when you get to Adriana, Adriana is Latina, but guess what? There's some Afro Latinas out there who are like darker than me. And so you miss an opportunity right there. So the thing about it is that like you had three roles where you could throw some like color in there that you chose not to. And I don't know, for me, I find that problematic. That's what we talk about colorism at, because like you look at little dark skinned girls who have to watch this and they're like, who do I relate to? Granted, there's like the teacher and those people like that, but those are all supporting characters. They're not the stars. They're not the ones coming back for movie 2, movie 3. They're not the ones who toys are being made of. And that's the thing. And so honestly, that's where I kind of see a problem with this movie at is the colorism. So if they were to remake it again, that's something they could solve, where they could go through and cast this with a diverse group that represents like all shades.
And and that conversation is becoming more prevalent nowadays. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where I almost want, it's like when we're discussing diversity in film and in television, etc. And like I know it's an ant pushing a boulder up a hill in terms of progress. You know what I mean? And where we're at now is still miles away where I think we want, but it's still further up than where we were 20 years ago. But that doesn't excuse it to say congratulations, we're stopping here. So now that the fact that like we're doing projects where okay, they're greenlighting movies and TV shows with people like that, BIPOC characters and etc. Great. It's not as hard, still hard, but not as hard. But now we got to do the next step, which is to showcase the, like you're pointing out, the different shades within the community. And we're not, that's a new lesson that we have to teach Hollywood and the people in
Yeah.
charge of this media.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say some of this come up for years. Because again, we see who they push. Because again, like Hallie's been like the go-to black actress for a long time.
Yeah.
You see it happen now with Zendaya. We see it happen with the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like they've always kind of like leaned towards these like fair skinned black women.
Right.
And it's one of those things where like within the black community, it's come up plenty of times.
Yeah,
where like we notice it, we bring it up, but kind of like we talk about like with Black Lives Matter and things happening there, it's not till like social media gets and things blow up that like everyone becomes aware of it. But to your point though, like yeah, we're doing the work now, but we still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And we've made some progress, but we still got to push forward in a lot of different ways.
Because
like as you were saying that, because one thing that popped through my mind right now is Zendaya is the current it girl right now.
Yeah.
But again, she's still like a person of color. But you look at her status of it girl versus, for examples, Jennifer Lawrence's. Those are two fucking different levels of careers right there and opportunities that were given. Because you might look at Zendaya like, oh, she was in a Spider-Man film. She's got Euphoria going on. Yo, Jennifer Lawrence had like 18 movies just coming out back to back at one point. Oh, yeah. She was like an American Hustle. She had the Hunger Games films. She was in the X-Men films. She did that stupid ass movie with Chris Pratt where they're in space. Like she had film after film after film after film coming out because she was a Hollywood it girl. But look at Zendaya, if she's quote unquote the Hollywood it girl now, she's not gonna get those opportunities. So sorry, I just kind of on this tangent right there. But it's like, again, we just got ways to go where it comes out to like giving these fair shakes to like all people type deal in Hollywood where they got to step up a little bit.
Yeah,
I take that back. Not a little bit. Step up a lot. I got some shit to do.
Yeah. No. Side on that, like just for funsies, I was just kind of like looking at like what female filmmaker would like to see tackle like a reboot or a redo of Cheetah Girls. If you have one in mind, please let me know. I have a couple I want to bring up, but if you're someone you think of right off the top of your head, who do you think? Do you have any suggestions in your head?
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry to write or direct?
Yep, the direct. The only reason why is because Halle Berry recently did this movie called Bruised.
Mm-hmm.
It's out on Netflix,
Yeah.
and it got panned by critics. Like it was like her first directorial debut. But the reason why I say Halle's because like honestly, the thing about it is though is that people should give multiple opportunities. We've talked about the mediocre white man theory on this show, where it's like if you're a mediocre white man, you get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And so with Halle, people are panning her movie Bruise right now. I was like, all right, fuck it. You did bad at Bruise. Here, tackle the Cheetah Girls. And like see what you can do with that. Because Halle I also feel somebody who's like so tapped into the culture and with context that she has or whatever. Halle can get the talent behind this film through a couple phone calls with people. She's like, hey, Babyface, you mind come and do the soundtrack really quickly? Usher, you mind playing the music teacher? She can make phone calls, calling favors that can really take the Cheetah Girls up those notches that we want while still hopefully keeping Disney under the budget. So that would be one person I just picked just randomly off the top of my head. What about you? Who you found so far?
I'm actually with I think it would be really interesting to see what Shonda Rhimes would do with it. Yeah, if you don't know Shonda Rhimes, she's she's got first off Bridgerton, fucking Bridgerton.
Not just Bridgerton. At one point, she was ABC Thursday night.
That's right. It
was like literally, she was literally ABC
Grey's
Thursday
Anatomy,
night. It was
Scandal.
night.
How's to Get Away with Murder?
Murder. Bam. Shonda versus son.
So, and the reason I bring her up is because I feel like she seems to have a really keen aware of the genre she's writing. You know what I mean? And like it, and all of those are just various different shows of different stuff, but each of them fit the world that she's writing. You know, the fact that like Bridgerton, which blew the hell up when it came out, like I was like, and when that came out, I was like, God, I would like to see like what you would do in any genre, particularly. So to have her go like, all right, what would you do with the teen pop musical coming of age rise of popularity movie story of the Cheetah Girls? Like, especially if you're going to base it off the books, like you have now all the books for source material. Like, what can you pull from that the movies have never done? You know, what if you did a cheetah? What would you do with this? And then maybe get like more like interesting musicians behind it. You know, like that to me it's like I'm almost like weirdly pitching like Cheetah Girls slightly as an auteur project for Shonda Rhimes or someone like Shonda Rhimes, but a part of me feels like, look, if it's a big deal for Disney, let's see what happens if you put like all your best foot forward and make something that could work, not just for the kids who are watching this network, but hey, possible for like other folks who just like fun characters and good music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then also as well as like, because we also say like Ava, she could like do something with this as well.
Sure.
But you also just want to like, you know, give opportunities like because again, like we talk about Halle and then Shonda and like Ava, but you also give opportunities some new voices as well. Like Disney go out and discover some people. Like one person I want to give a shout out to is Quinta Brunson. She plays on that show Abbott Elementary. I haven't watched yet, which is hilarious. You're listening from the actual teacher was like, that's a struggle right there.
Abbott.
That's a struggle. The only thing that's not accurate is they are out of their classroom so fucking much. Like we do not interact that much. We're not out of our classrooms that long.
I'm so glad you brought that show up because I feel like if you're not watching Abbott Elementary right now, you should, because that show, if they get another couple of seasons, everyone's going to be talking about that show. New Office. Exactly. I know. But Quinta would. Ooh, I would love to see what Quinta will do with this.
Exactly, because Quinta I feel could be more like the comedy would be much stronger. She'd probably get a more grounded perspective from it and everything like that. And while also still recognizing the music that needs to be here as well, because again, it's just one of those things that like when you have a person of color who comes from that culture behind the scenes, recognizing this and seeing what they're trying to do with this music, they would be like, nah, this don't sound right. Because that's the thing about like a lot of Disney Channel stuff is because Disney Channel tries to play in this like pop vein a lot of different times. And it's like, y'all forget that some of the biggest pop artists of all time are Black musicians. And everything has to be this cookie cutter boy band type stuff. It's like there are Black musicians who are literally the biggest pop stars in the world. Shout out Drake. And so the thing about it is that you can tap into some of that part of that culture to kind of bring that in. And so, yeah, again, it's an opportunity there. So, Quinta can be dope as hell.
Yeah. I agree. That'll be rad. I'll be rad.
All right. So we've discussed plot, we've discussed music, we've discussed characters. Anything else you kind of want to talk about, Justin, kind of sticks out to you with the Cheetah Girls?
Nothing at the moment anymore. How about you, Johnny?
I think so. I think we're all good. I think we go ahead and move to our ratings right now.
Okay.
So, as y'all know, here on Disney+Diversity, we have a ranking system where we rank movies as either woke, means diverse, inclusive, pushing the genre forward. Waking means it's doing some good things, but it's making some steps along the way. Or sleeping shit was like, man, this shit kind of problematic. So, we're going to give our rankings right now. While we do that, why don't you go ahead and drop yours in the chat? Or if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment below. Tell us what you thought.
I got to get my writing utensil. I literally forgot about that. So, give me a second.
Hey, be right back.
Is the podcast getting shorter? We were the Cheetah Girls. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching this episode. All right. Oh, someone was ready.
Good job, Slobo. Slobo, if you can't tell us why, but Wakey's good, though. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it.
Yeah, if you feel like, we'd love to hear more about why you feel that way.
Yes, please. Why you feel waking.
Why are you waking now?
Why are you waking? Why are you waking?
And I wanted to give another quick thank you to everyone that followed us this time around and everyone that's been sticking around and watching today.
Yes, thank you. That was great.
What is our next episode supposed to be?
Huckleberry Finn.
That's right.
Huckleberry Finn. Oh, sorry, Johnny. It's the Adventures of Huck Finn. That's what they promoted it.
We're not doing that one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTG.
No.
That Tom Sawyer one. We're not doing that one.
We're not doing that one. I never saw that one. And I kind of refused to. I was like,
Sklobo, I feel like they did a solid job with the girl empowerment, but agree that there could have been more shades of brown. Yeah?
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Good point.
Whatever it takes.
Are you going into Degrassi or something else?
I did. I was thinking Degrassi.
That's like my whole life recently.
Because we talking about Drizzy?
Because we're talking about Drizzy. Yeah.
Drizzy. What's up, Jimmy?
I did like that Drake music video where it's just a Degrassi reunion. That was pretty good.
That was cool. If I knew more about Degrassi, I would appreciate it more. I just like that Kevin Smith was in it.
Agreed.
This is your time, Johnny. All of it is on Amazon Prime and YouTube. Just go for it.
I thought about it, but I'm like, I right now going down a Seinfeld hole where I'm looking like, damn, this show has a lot of continuity.
What season are you on?
I'm bouncing around just from episode to episode, and it's kind of hilarious because like they'll do things that are racist or sexist, but at the same time though, you got to remember like, oh wait, these actually are the worst people ever. Yeah. So it's like, oh, it's totally fine that they're mostly vile people. They have no redeeming qualities. Okay, ready when you are, Justin.
I am. Are you?
All right, here we go. So as y'all know, again, so we're about to give our ratings right now. So remember, we give the wake. This is either woke, waking, or sleep as shit. We'll go and show our ratings to the camera on 3. 1, 2, 3. Waking. I put cheetah spots around mine with some Z down here at the bottom because I was so tempted to give this sleep as shit. I was so tempted to give this sleep.
But that would have required him to do nothing.
Some of it was just overly racist. Because part of me was like, I feel like y'all are just profiting off the culture right here. Like this movie was just made to get this money from this culture. But however, though, the reason why I give it Wake is for a few different reasons. Number one, this book was bought from a Black author. That is dope. She got the check. So shout out to Mama Cheetah. You find her on Instagram. But she got broken off that nice check for 3 movies and some merchandise. Hopefully, I kind of want to interview her one day. We might do that. We get ready to do Cheetah Girls too. Just talk about what her Disney deal was like. See, like, what did she get her as far as her digitals? Did they pay her propers? So that's dope as hell. 2, it is a bunch of people of color on the screen. And then, so it does pass the wire test, which is obvious. 3, it's got people of different backgrounds as well. So you got Black, Latino. It's dope as hell that retrospect as well. And we also passed the Bechdel test because, again, we got this female empowerment going. So, again, it passes a lot of tests. Is it a good film? No. No. Would I recommend it? No. Would I show it to my, like, 4-year-old daughter before she actually develops, like, taste in film? Yeah, why not? Not even say daughter. I say, like, son as well. Like, any kid is like, oh, here, watch this. Like, you just still like crap. It's fine. Go ahead, watch this.
Look, you still like garbage. It's okay.
Exactly. When you develop taste, well, we'll show you Xenon. We'll show you Lemonade Mouth.
Yeah. Look, no, I said Waking for very similar reasons too. It's like I said, here's like you said, they either had to do no diversity or just something intensely racist, which they did nothing. And here's the thing, like, I'll be real, like, I would say Waking or Woke, not even based on quality of film, I would say it more off of what they tried to accomplish. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, like, did they try to accomplish a young, a movie about young women taking care of, like, doing a dream and inspiring a group of other young, young kids watching it despite their color or gender? Yeah, they did that. And look, like, it clearly worked for them to go as far as 3 movies because of how big this got. So, look, more power to it. And like the fact that they did it with such, at the end of the day, women of color film, they still did it. So that's like bare minimum, bare minimum at the best. So hey, they accomplished it. But like, there could have been more even within those diversities that we brought up. There could have been more, like, obviously more shades of brown with the casting, obviously further development on other, like, you have ideas of, it's like they had ideas of development and didn't really follow through on how to make those fulfilling ideas of development for character. And they literally left one character out of any development, which is Aqua. So and the shout out to, but also positive shout out to children of mixed race children who are mixed race with parents, as well with Raven's character. So look, it's a mixed bag at the end of the day, but it still does more than most, especially during 2003 and specifically for children's programming. So good enough.
Oh my God, did you say good enough?
But also, yeah, it did clearly work. Like, like producer Stacy, she was the right age, and many folks around, who saw it around the same age, also clearly loved it and were inspired by it. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, look, it clearly worked. But I think what you and me are talking about is what you and me clearly see is like, yeah, it worked enough. And it definitely worked enough for it to keep going to more than one movie, but there's something here that you probably could have found a way to really make it even more than what we got. And that's something that I kind of wish someone would have given it a try. Maybe hopefully down the line,
Yeah, and it's weird because we've talked about this before. They remade that one Disney Channel movie with the Mummy, but
right.
It's like
that's the one.
It's like, out of all the stuff you could have remade that was successful, it's like that's the one you choose to do. Because again, enough time has passed. Where it's 2003, we're coming up on 20 years. 20 years since Cheetah Girls is on. It's like, y'all can sneak out another film right now. This is like the perfect time. You can even bring Raven-Symoné back as a teacher role or as a parent role and bring some of these cast members back now. Because they really are parents.
Because it looks like you're not going to get a real reunion anytime soon.
Can we, really quick, can I ask?
Hey, y'all. Hey.
Can I ask really quick? Did you guys see the announcement for the Cheaper by the Dozen remake?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
That will be an upcoming episode of my monthly podcast, Nothing New.
Because I think I thought of it because you brought up the Under Wraps movie, where it has the Cheaper by the Dozen has the same weird marketing, like they're pretending as if this is a new original movie. It literally says a new original Disney Channel original. I'm like, no.
Yeah, the Cheaper by the Dozen with Zach Braff and Gabrielle Union. I'm like seeing the trailer for this, and I'm like, I know for a fact that the Steve Martin one was a remake.
Exactly.
And they did 2 of those movies, didn't they?
They made 2 Steve Martin Cheaper by the Dozen. That's right.
Yeah.
So like I'm sitting there going, what is it about this concept that you all think is ripe for another version of it?
I feel like, I think it's kind of obvious. I think they're trying to throw a biracial thing into it to see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think they want to experiment with that, which is like, there's no problem with experimenting with that. I just don't think that particular movie needed to be redone. And also, I still have a problem with them saying it's a new original movie.
That's right. It's a bold-faced lie, is what that is. That's the problem. You know.
Yeah. And like you said, it's like, I mean, maybe because the original Cheaper by the Dozen was a remake within itself, I believe.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like
it was.
So it's just kind of like, I get it. It's one of those properties like the computer wears tennis shoes and things like that, or Flubber, for example.
Yeah, Flubber.
Like, I get it. You can keep the Nutty Professor. There are some things you can keep going back and tapping the well with, which I get. So I understand it. At the same time, though, as I mentioned those, I'm like, can y'all make a new Flubber? I'd actually be on board with that. Can y'all make a new Nutty Professor? I'd be on board with that. I feel like there's a lot of stuff you could do, especially like with the Nutty Professor. When we talk about body image issues and things like that, I feel like you could have a lot of fun with that with the Nutty Professor nowadays. Or maybe it's like he takes the pole, she actually gets smaller, he just gets like more confident or something.
Right.
It's more of a lesson about like, nah, dude, your size doesn't matter. It's all about how you believe in yourself.
I don't know. I mean, if we want to cover, I think if we cover it, I'll still probably watch it, the Cheaper by the Dozen thing, because I am curious, because there's a chance that they could do something good, having the biracial family going on. There's a chance, but I also am worried there will be something offensive. I don't know.
Well,
I'm praying I'll pray for
them. You will find out my thoughts on my monthly podcast, Nothing New.
Oh, that's right. Of course you do. Yes, of course you're
definitely going to be covering that on our show.
And I would say the good thing they have going for them is they have Gabrielle Union there. Like, for people who don't know, Gabrielle Union is married to Dwayne Wade, and one of their children identified like pretty early on, I believe, as transgender. And that became out this huge media issue where people were like, "Oh, the kid's too young. Why are y'all supporting this?" And they were like, "No. This is our child. That's their identity." And they were really on top of and respecting that. And so that's all to say that I think it could be fine, because if Gabrielle Union's on set and they know who she comes from, what she represents as far as her brand, they're going to be on their P's and Q's. That's all to say, though, like, it could end up being pretty bland, because like with a biracial couple, you'd want to have conversations about being biracial couple, because if somebody's like, I'm currently in a biracial couple, and stuff pops off, like, we be getting looks. It's 2022. It's like people be looking. It's like, oh, and didn't know these things were still going on.
Yeah, honestly, me too with my boyfriend.
Yeah. So that's just the thing too. So that's the thing there, is that if you don't address that and address the fact that you have biracial kids, that's something you're missing out on, especially from Zach Braff's perspective, though, because like I remember it was like, the thing about this was like one of the biggest things is that like you really don't understand, like, I feel like Black Lives Matter until you have like Black children to a certain degree as well, especially like for Zach Braff as a white man, like him, but like looking at Black Lives Matter as someone who has Black children, realize like, oh shit, when half of these dozen go out into the streets, they could like get shot by the police or whatever because of being seen as a threat or something like that.
Right.
That could resonate with him. So like, I just feel like with Disney, they're going to avoid those conversations. There are conversations they could be having that they're going to avoid having.
Especially if it's like a family film, right? Like, like something like a Falcon and Winter Soldier, that show had room to have those conversations, But that's a Marvel. It's a Marvel show. It's a superhero show. It's a little darker. They're allowed to go dramatic. With Cheaper by the Dozen, starring Zach Braff and Gabrielle Union, Yeah, you're not gonna get that. You're gonna most likely not gonna get that. And if they get there, they got to be real careful with that subject matter and make sure it doesn't take away from the tone of being a family film. So
even Falcon Winter Soldier got a lot of critiques. Like if you
oh
listen
yeah,
to like very like are very into the culture and very like woke and whatnot, a lot of them didn't like the show. They felt it was too toned down. They felt it like was kind of like wrong in some ways of the way it was some characters. Again, like some people would even call that show problematic to some degree.
Sure.
And so that's just kind of thing when it comes to Disney is that like it's just the corporations and machines sometimes. Like sometimes you do the right by things, but the moments that they did the moment in my mind where they did the most right by things would be for examples like Black Panther. Right. Where they allowed a lot of like conversations that weren't just representative of the culture. Whereas like not only did you represent the culture, but you address some of the problems within our culture, like things like that. Like I think back to that scene with Killmonger, he's in the museum, was like, "Oh, so you own this, but didn't you take this from somebody?" Oh snap! Right. Or like it was like when he's like in the scene with his like his dad or whatever, he says, "No tears for me. We don't shed tears where I come from." And from him, this is like a project and whatnot. It's like there's a lot of stuff that we do out there about like the Black struggle and whatnot that was represented in that film. Where it's like not only did you do the representation on screen, but you actually had a deeper conversation about some problems as well. That was dope, and that's because again you had so many people behind the scenes doing that. Right. And so outside of that, though, I can't really think about anything Disney has done from either like even like from another minority perspective or a queer perspective or a woman's perspective, where they push the conversation forward. You talk about some oppressive systems. Like even Captain Marvel, like there's things you could talk about from a woman's standpoint of sexism they experience. But even though it was a female-driven film, it was like, oh, we got this cool ass soundtrack. Captain Marvel didn't really like. Stacy, you correct me if I'm wrong here, and I'm trying to recall the movie, but it was like dope to see like those women on screen. But like, did y'all address any like sexist issues there?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think so. Like, not a lot.
They did, but in a very kind of quick way, not in a main narrative kind of way. Like,
I mean, it did have, definitely. I think it wasn't the big like eureka, like oh my god, like they didn't. It wasn't like that, but it was the girl power was there, and like they did address some, like you said, they addressed some things. It just wasn't. I think like I think I liked the movie. I do like that movie. I thought it was good, but I think like me and some other women, like we call that how we felt after some you might hear them say that like it seemed like there was things they could have covered a little more and they didn't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, y'all got some bonus content on Disney+Diversity today.
Yeah. We kind of like a little bit past the Cheetah Girls, but
yeah. So as always, be sure to like, share, subscribe. And, thank y'all for tuning in.
Great. Okay.
Oh, I think they're here at my place too. I'm not. Oh.
Wait, Stacy. Stacy. Tell them we're sisters. Tell them because we're sisters.
Wait, Toto, are you down the hall?
Oh, God
Toto,
damn,
here I come.
Okay, we gotta go sing to Toto.
Song.